Shakespeare's Tragedy by William Shakespeare. The Tragedy of Macbeth. Many years ago, there was a king in Scotland whose name was King Duncan. He was a good king, but the times were warlike. He had an enemy called MacDonald. This man and his followers fought against the king and tried to kill him. There was a terrible battle, but the king's cousin, Macbeth, won the battle and killed MacDonald. The king of Norway heard about the battle and thought this would be the good time to attack Scotland. He felt sure that he could win the war. After all, many of Scotland's men were wounded or killed in MacDonald's rebellion. Not only that, but one of Scotland's leaders, the Thane of Cawdor, had agreed to help him. Macbeth and his friend Banquo had no time to rest as soon as they had defeated MacDonald. They had to fight against the Norwegians. It was a very bloody battle. Many men were killed, but Macbeth and Banquo were good and strong and brave. They won that battle too. King Duncan in Scotland was safe, but the King of Norway agreed to pay King Duncan a lot of money. King Duncan was very pleased and grateful to Macbeth and Banquo. As soon as he saw what the Thane of Cawdor had done, he was very angry. He decided to execute him and make Macbeth the new Thane of Cawdor in his place. After the battles, Macbeth and Banquo were on their way back to see the king. They were tired but pleased. Suddenly, they heard thunder, and three strange beings appeared. They looked like very old women, but they had beards and were rakes for clothes. Macbeth and Banquo, of course, were not frightened, but they did wonder what these strange beings were. They were witches, as Macbeth and Banquo soon found out. The first witch called Macbeth the Thane of Blameless, which he was. The second witch called him the Thane of Cawdor. King Duncan had made him Thane of Cawdor, but Macbeth did not know that yet. The third witch called him the future king. Macbeth was surprised and a little frightened to hear the witches say these things. Then they told Banquo he would be the father of kings, though he would never be king himself. Macbeth could not understand how he could ever be the king. He was the king's cousin, but the king was alive, and he had two sons. He wanted the witches to tell him more, but they would not say anything and disappeared into the air. Macbeth and Banquo wondered if they had eaten something that had made them mad. Had they imagined these witches, or were they real? This question was soon answered. Messengers arrived from the king to greet Macbeth and Banquo. They told him that King Duncan had married Macbeth, the Thane of Cawdor. Macbeth could not believe it because he did not know that the Thane of Cawdor had helped the Norwegian king in his war against Scotland. The messengers told him what had happened and that King Duncan had decided to execute the Thane of Cawdor. Then Macbeth believed it and began to wonder how he would become the future king. It made him excited and frightened to think of it. He decided that he would do nothing to make it come true. He would not make himself king. Banquo, of course, also began to wonder what the messenger of the witches meant for him.
The first part of their message had come true. Very quickly, it seemed certain to Macbeth and Banquo that the remainder of their message must also come true. When Macbeth and Banquo arrived at the king's palace, he greeted them and thanked them for their bravery. Everybody cheered for the heroes that returned from battle. King Duncan told them all that his oldest son, Malcolm, would be the next king. Everybody cheered again, but Macbeth wondered how the witch's message could come true if Malcolm became king of Scotland. He was already beginning to look forward to being king, but Malcolm was a problem. King Duncan told Macbeth he would come to stay with him in Macbeth Castle. At Inverness, Macbeth went on ahead of him to prepare the castle for the king's visit. Before Macbeth left, however, he wrote his wife a letter and told her what the witches had said. He told her part of their message had already come true, and he was now the Thane of Cawdor. Lady Macbeth was very pleased to read the letter because she was an ambitious woman and would very much have liked to be the queen. However, she was worried about her husband. She thought he was too kind. He was ambitious, but he wanted to achieve his ambition without hurting anybody or doing anything wrong. She thought he needed somebody to tell him what to do. She decided she would help him become the king. It didn't bother her if she had to hurt somebody or do something bad. She would make sure that he became the king. When a messenger told her King Duncan would stay in her castle that night, she was very excited. She was determined to be hard and cruel. She prepared her heart and mind for murder. When Macbeth arrived at the castle, she prepared him too. Your face is too honest, she told Macbeth. You must welcome the king and look innocent and friendly. But underneath, you will be like a serpent. I will tell you what to do. King Duncan must never leave this castle alive. King Duncan arrived at the castle a few hours later with Banquo, his two sons, Malcolm and Jonathan, and some other members of the king's retinue were also with him. Lady Macbeth came out to greet them. She made the king feel very welcome and told him that it was a great honor to have him and his retinue stay at the castle. The king spoke kindly to Lady Macbeth and told her that her husband was a brave and wonderful warrior. While the king and his retinue were eating dinner, Macbeth and his lady had a private conversation. Macbeth didn't want to kill King Duncan, although he wanted to be king. If I were going to kill him, he said, I would do it quickly, before I have had time to think about it. But now it is too late. He trusts me and has honored me. He is a very good king. I have no reason to kill him, but my own ambition. I will not do it. Lady Macbeth accused him of being a coward. Why do you hope for something and then not take it when you have the chance? It is because you don't dare. I dare to do anything a man can dare, replied Macbeth. Nobody dares more. Then be a man, cried Lady Macbeth. The king is tired and will soon be asleep. I will give the two guards at his door some wine so that they will asleep. Then you will take the opportunity, Macbeth decided to do it.
That night, King Duncan gave Macbeth some valuable gifts from his treasure house, and he gave Lady Macbeth a large diamond. He said she was a very good hostess, and he was very pleased with the way she had welcomed him to the castle. Then he went to bed. A few hours later, Banquo and his son Ulysses saw Macbeth and a servant working in the castle. Banquo told Macbeth he had dreamed about the three witches, and Macbeth told him he would honor him when the witch's message came true. The two men said good night to each other, and Macbeth told his servant to go to bed. Lady Macbeth had given the two guards the wine, and they were asleep. She rang a small bell to tell Macbeth he could now go in and murder the king. Macbeth went into the king's bedroom and stabbed him to death with the guard knife. He was so horrified by what he had done that he could not think. He took the knife out of the bedroom and carried it to Lady Macbeth. I have done it, he said. This is a sorry night. Lady Macbeth saw a knife and the blood on his hands. Why have you brought the knife here? She asked. They should be with the guard, and you should put blood on their clothes. Then go and wash your hands. But Macbeth was too afraid to go back and see what he had done. Give me the knife, ordered his wife. I will go and do it. I am not afraid of dead people. They could not hurt me. When she returned, Macbeth and his wife washed the blood from their hands. Macbeth already felt sorry for what he had done, but he could not undo it. He had to go on. It was already early morning, and they heard somebody knocking on the door. It was Macduff and Lecknoss, two other Scottish lads who were travelling with the king. She wanted to know if the king was awake yet. He had told him to call him early. Macbeth showed them the door that led to his bedroom. Macduff came running back shouting, Murder, murder! And soon the whole castle was in an uproar. Lady Macbeth pretended to be very upset. Macbeth ran into the king's room. He pretended to be very angry with the two guards, whose knife, hands, and clothes was bloody. He killed them before they could say anything. When Macduff asked him why he did that, he replied that it was because he loved good King Duncan and could not bear to see his brothers alive. When John Balin and Meg Conlon heard the news of their father's murder, they decided it was not safe to stay at castle. They were afraid they would be murdered too. If they stayed in Scotland, Macaulay fled to England and John Balin fled to Ireland. This made people believe they had paid the guards to kill their father. Macbeth and his lady were quite happy to let people believe this. The guards, of course, could not deny it because Macbeth has killed them. King Duncan was dead. His two sons had fled. The next person night to be the king was King Duncan's cousin, Macbeth. He was crowned king and Lady Macbeth became the queen.
Banquo, meanwhile, was still thinking about the witch's message. It had come true. Macbeth was king. Banquo suspected that Macbeth had murdered King Duncan, but he did not say anything. He remembered the witches had said he would be the father of kings. He wondered how this would happen. Macbeth, of course, was thinking about it too. He was worried about it. He wanted his son to be king, but the witches had said Banquo would be the father of kings. Have I murdered good King Duncan so that Banquo's sons will be kings? He asked himself. He had to do something about it. He discovered that Banquo and his son Vincent were going out riding that afternoon. He reminded Banquo to be back in time for the big feast that evening. Macbeth wanted to celebrate being king. When Banquo had left, Macbeth got some prisoners from the jail. These men were murderers. He told them to murder Banquo and Fleece while they were out riding. The murderers lay waiting beside the road. It was getting dark when they finally saw Banquo and the Fleece coming. They attacked them. Banquo shouted to his son, telling him to run away. The murderers killed Banquo, but Fleece escaped in the darkness. Macbeth told his wife that he had told the murderers to kill Banquo and his son. However, he was still upset because he had killed King Duncan. Lady Macbeth told him to look more cheerful. What's done is done. She reassured him. Go and enjoy the feast with all the dance and lords. You are the king. I will, replied Macbeth. We must both appear cheerful and happy because nobody must ever know what we have done. Come, let us go to the feast. Macbeth and his lady went to the feast. They were the king and queen of Scotland, and they were celebrating, but they had a guilty secret. They had murdered King Duncan, and now Macbeth's best friend Banquo was also dead. While they were at the feast, one of Banquo's murderers came to see Macbeth and told him that Banquo was dead. Macbeth was pleased, but when he discovered that Fleece had escaped, he was not pleased at all. However, he decided that Fleece could not harm him yet, and he would be able to kill him later. Then something strange happened. All the lords were sitting at the table. There was one empty chair for Banquo, and another for King Macbeth. When Macbeth came in, he apologized for being late and said he wanted to wait for Banquo. I don't understand why he is so late, he lied. Banquo's ghost came and sat in King Macbeth's seat. He did not speak, but sitting in the king's chair was a clear message that his sons would be kings. The lords asked Macbeth to sit down and began eating. They could not eat before he began. Suddenly, Macbeth recognized Banquo's ghost sitting in his chair. Who is this? He cried. Then he spoke to the ghost. You can never say that I did it. Don't point your bloody finger at me. The lords thought he was sick, and they all wanted to leave the party. Lady Macbeth told them that this sometimes happened to her husband, and they should not worry about it. Then she took Macbeth aside and asked him what was wrong. The ghost laughed. I saw the ghost of Banquo, he exclaimed. He was sitting in my chair. Lady Macbeth had not seen the ghost. You "You're only looking at the chair," she said. "It's empty." "I'm sure he was there," cried Macbeth. "He told the lords he had a strange illness and they should not worry about him. Let's stand and drink to our dear friend Banquo," he toasted. As they drank, Banquo's ghost came back in and sat in Macbeth's chair again.
Get out! Screamed Macbeth. You are not real. He called the ghost many different names. He said he would not be afraid to fight him if he came in the shape of a tiger or a bear. But the ghost did not answer. Get out! Screamed Macbeth again. The ghost got up and left. Macbeth's eyes were wide open, and he was breathing heavily. He looked around at the lords. "I am sorry," he apologized. "Please sit down and enjoy your food." The lords began to ask him questions, but Lady Macbeth told them this would make him worse. She advised them to leave quickly. They all got up from their chairs, wondering what strange illness made Macbeth act so strangely. They wished him good health and left him with Lady Macbeth. Macbeth was now very worried. He remembered Macduff had not been at the feast and wondered where he was and what he was doing. He told Lady Macbeth that he would go and find the witches and ask them to tell him more. He wanted to know if he had to kill any more people. Lady Macbeth told him he should first go to bed and have a good sleep. Some of the Scottish lords began to suspect that Macbeth had killed King Duncan and Banquo. Macduff was one of them. He was not at the feast because he had gone to England to serve the Count, King Duncan's son. He also asked King Edward of England to make war on Scotland and get rid of Macbeth. Macduff's friend Lennox now knew about this and was ready to help him if King Edward agreed to come to Scotland. The witches met with Hecate, the goddess of witchcraft. Hecate was annoyed because the three witches had not included her in their meeting with Macbeth and Banquo. Now she told them to go and find Macbeth. He wants to know more about his future. He is wondering whether he has to kill any more people. You must make him feel safe, she told them. Feeling safe will be his worst enemy. The witches and the Hecates met with some other witches who were already making magic spells. These witches had a large pot on fire. They threw all kinds of things into the pot. They had pieces of snakes and frogs, dog's teeth, poisonous roots, and the blood of different animals. The pots boiled and bubbled, and witches sang and danced around it. Hecate was very pleased. Macbeth arrived and demanded that the witches tell him the truth. They told him they would. Suddenly, the head with arms appeared. Macbeth was going to ask it a question, but the witches told him that it already knew what he was thinking. He should just listen. He listened. The head told him to beware of Macduff. Then it disappeared. Again, Macbeth wanted to ask it more questions. The witches told him to be quiet and wait. Now a child, covered in blood, appeared. Be bold and brave, it stated. Nobody who is born of a woman shall harm Macbeth. Then I do not have to fear Macduff, for he is born of a woman. Reasoned Macbeth. The bloody child disappeared. Another child took its place. This one wore a crown and had a tree in his hand. What is this? Asked Macbeth. Be quiet, commanded the witches. You may listen, but you may not speak. This could also told Macbeth he should be bold and brave. He did not have to worry about any enemies. He would not be defeated until the trees of the burning forest came marching up the hill to Dunsinane, his castle. This can never happen, cried Macbeth. Trees cannot march. I shall not worry. I shall not fear. Just tell me one more thing. Will Bangor's sons be kings? Do not ask for more. Warned the witches.